Hey guys, and welcome back to Rainbow Ink. It is another Percy Jackson Friday. We are sorting today. This video is going to be somewhat different than my normal videos, somewhat not at the same time. And this is probably going to be my most ambitious sorting video to date because yes, you read the title and probably seen the thumbnail. I am going to try and sort all of Stitch's cousins. So that thumbnail and title is a little misleading, a little clickbaity, sorry about that. So we're not sorting all of the 628 experiments that Jumbo had created in Lilo and Stitch, the Lilo and Stitch franchise. Yes, I am counting 627 and 628 Leroy, because all of the cousins that we are pulling from are either from Lilo and Stitch the series, any of the movies, the Stitch anime, Disney magazines, the Stitch manga, pretty much anywhere from Lilo and Stitch, aka just Stitch in general. It's a lot of different places. So like I said, we're not sorting every experiments that I am not sorting today. There's like a lot of them. All their names are on the screen, by the way. So that's over 100 names. It's a lot. Now, the over 100 names, I do plan on making a special video for them, but that will be next month. We are going to have the ones that I've sorted into the Camp Half-Blood cabins of Camp Half-Blood. I'm not going to have really pictures on the screen because most of these characters don't either pop up like in like actual the show or animation or whatever else. They need like quick little cameos where you can't really get a full-blown picture of them. So their names are just going to be on the screen. So we're going to start off with all the ones that got sorted first and like the reasonings behind them, like mainly like Aperture's powers, what they do, and the thing that they're in, and then at the end I have a list of characters that can go in multiple different places, and that's where I'm definitely going to need help with you guys. So when we get to those certain characters, and even with characters that were sorted in cabins, tell me in the comments below where you think they should go. If you see me look down or hold up a piece of paper, this is my list. This video has been in the making for over a month. This is literally 5 pages long of just characters that I sorted into each of the cabins, and these cabins are not in order. I just went off the list in order from 1 to 628 and just made that list for each of the gods. Any of the characters that I do sort and you're curious of like what they look like or what they actually do, I would recommend looking it up like I do with all these characters. So enough stalling, enough rambling. I'm gonna get into these sortings now, and may God help my soul. So here we go. The first god up on our plate is Aries Cabin 5. There is a lot of names. All the names are on the screen. 36 experiments are going into Cabin 5 Aries due to like war aspect, destruction, like not being like the smartest one in the basket, but they're like battle bound, war bound, that sort of thing, like somewhat bullies, etc. for that. So there's our first cabin done. So many more to go. Okay, so for the next cabin that's up is Cabin 9 Hephaestus. It's 35 different names. Mainly the reasoning for these ones are loyalty, since that is one of the things that Hephaestus is known for. Building, somewhat inventing, and fire, since they're all traits of Hephaestus, since Hephaestus is god of like blacksmithing, fire, and everything else, and loyalty is a trait of Hephaestus. So there's that. Next up, the biggest sorting that we have, because of course it is Cabin 11 Hermes, and they have with a whopping 93 experiments going in Hermes. He was very busy, it seems. So most of these ones are either they're thieves, directions, language, pranky, jokey, pretty much anything and almost everything that qualifies of what Hermes does in the personality of most of the ones that are in there as well. So there's that. Let's move on to our next one. Next up with 53 experiments being sorted in is Cabin 7 Apollo. Mainly like artistry, anything to do with songs, sounds, healing and sickness, and the sun has gone into Cabin 7 Apollo due to those being like the main things that our probably are known for. There's that. Next up, with 38 experiments going into their cabinings, is cabin 10, Aphrodite. The reasons for those ones are either beauty, love, and like those within the profession of like fashion and hair and designing in general in that vicinity. So there's that. Okay, so next cabin with 20 experiments being sorted in is cabin 4. Demure, mainly for like these reasonings, are anything pretty much to do with plant life and the earth, and partly with food as well, because Demure is like the goddess of grain and plants and everything else like that, so, and earth, and a little bit of earth. I know Gaia is more earth, but still, so there's that. We have 27 going into this next cabin. Is cabin 1, Zeus. Of course, he's been busy. He's Zeus. So mainly ones that went into this cabin were pretty much anything to do with electricity, wind, and a little bit of the weather as well, but mainly electricity, aka lightning, and wind, since Zeus is the god of lightning and wind and stuff like that. So there's that. Funny enough, you would expect Zeus to be the one with the most sortings, but no, his son Hermes beat him out for that one. Since Zeus can't keep in his pants. Okay, so for our next one that's getting 22 experiments sorted is cabin 15, Hypno. Mainly, I put in with sleep, a little bit of the mind and memory in with it, because I know, been partly noted, that dreams can fluctuate your views and stuff like that, and dreams come from sleep. So, there's that. Still gonna get to hold up this card because our next god only has 2 sortings in it. It is from cabin 19, Taiki. I have not said that name in a very long time because I rarely ever get any characters to sort in that cabin. And the reason for that is because Taiki is the goddess of luck. And both of these ones either bring luck or change your fortune. Okay, next up with 21 experiments going into her cabin is cabin 6, Athena. In other words, a lot of these ones came from Athena's mind. I'm so sorry, that was a terrible joke. So anyways, for these experiments, it was like mainly smart and scientific know-how and like smart strategy, almost, because Fiona's smart were Aries, who we first started off with, Dumore, so there's that. Okay, so took a break holding up this card. Our next god slash goddess is Iris, cabin 14, and she has 8 experiments going into her cabin due to the fact of, well, Iris is the goddess of rainbows, so all these ones are pretty much color expired, where they're changing people's colors, taking away their colors, sort of thing. So there's that. And we're going to continue holding up this card for cabin 20, Hecate, because she has 2 experiments going into her cabin as well. And mainly the reasoning for these 2 are mainly like magic wise, because literally one of them grants wishes and the other is named Witch. Yeah, we're grasping at straws at this one, I think, so there's that. Okay, for this next god, they have 25 experiments going to their cabin, which is cabin 3, Poseidon, which means Percy's gonna have to share his cabin with a lot of experiments. Straight down to it, mainly for these characters, it's due to either having water-based powers, something to do with water, or even earthquakes slash a little bit of storms. So since Poseidon is the god of both water and earthquakes. So there's that. Okay, so for our next cabin, which is cabin 18, Hebe. Hebe only has 3 experiments going into her cabin, and it's mainly to do with aging and de-aging people, since Hebe, is the goddess of youth. Okay, so we're going to continue holding this guy up because our next cabin is cabin 13, Hades, and Hades has 2 experiments going into his cabin, so thankfully Nico does not have to share. The main ones of reasonings for these 2 is 1, depression, because depression is closely for Hades, mainly Venus children and stuff like that, and also summoning spirits slash souls and commanding them, because Nico can literally summon and command a skeleton army. Don't judge me. So sticking with the theme, we're still holding this one up, and this cabin only has one experiment going into it. It is cabin 16 Nemesis. And literally the character's name says it all. It's literally grudge. And Nemesis is getting back at people, aka revenge. That can also lead to having a grudge held on somebody, or holding a grudge on somebody in that regard anyway. So there's that. We can finally put this down now, well, until we get into the single ones that we won't get an definitive answer, so yeah. And then finally, for our last experiment that's getting an definitive answer of where they're gonna go, in cabin 2 Hera, it's only one experiment named Hitch, and this experiment pretty much marries two random individuals together, and Hera is the goddess of marriage, so there's that. Oh goodness gracious. I don't know if anyone can see this too well, but can you guys see my spread of cards that I just have here on the bed? Okay, so now we are getting into the characters where I'm gonna get to be able to hold up 2 or more cards for. These are the ones that don't get a definitive answer. For any of these characters, tell me in the comments below what do you think they should go for in a definitive answer, so there's that. And if I mispronounce any of the experiments names, I am so sorry. It's been a long day so far. Oh, so we're still going with the theme of me just putting their name on the screen, because most likely they've only had a little cameo and they don't have full-on official design from Disney. So let's start off with our first character named Sprout. So the 2 places I thought about because of what this experiment's powers and what they do are wise is either cabin 4 Demira or cabin 5 Ares. The reason for that is it is plant-like and also very destructive warlife. So it's can be a toss-up between one and the other. So there's that. Next up, hopefully I'm saying this right, Fantissimo. So the places I'm thinking of putting him is either in cabin 6 Athena or cabin 13 Hades, for the reasonings of Fantissimo is a very smart experiment, and then for Hades, Ghost. I'm so sorry. There's that. Next up, I grouped actually these 2 together. It's only 2 characters. It's Sparky and Zap, which, just for their names alone, you would think to know, oh, most definitely Zeus, because they probably have electricity powers. And yes, that is very much true. But also, they're very pranky and like to try and be funny. So yeah, cabin 11, Hermes with that as well. And very energetic too. Next up is a experiment called Brownout. So the places for this one that I've chosen, or that could work, is either cabin 1 Zeus, because it is electrical stuff, and then cabin 9 Hephaestus, hear me out, because it is one true place, is working with an electrical company and rebuilding lines and stuff for electricity. So that's why cabin 9 Hephaestus is in here as well. So there's that. Okay, so for our next experiment is named Chop Suey. Hope I said that right. I'm only gonna be able to hold up 1 card for this, but it's supposed to be 2 different cabins for this, which is cabins 16 and 17, aka Nemesis and Nike respectfully. Mainly this one has Stitch's abilities and powers and stuff, but it can be very overly jealous and wishes to prove itself. And that's a form of victory to show it is better than Stitch. Even no, this one came before Stitch, which is very funny to think about. Oh joy! I just realized the next character that I get to talk about, which is 625, aka Ruben. I get to actually use a picture for him. Yay! So there's 3 different places that he could possibly go. The biggest of the 3 being cabin 15 Hypno, because of all the laziness. One is very lazy. He likes sandwiches. And then next, cabin 6 Athena, because he actually is very smart, and originally he was supposed to be Jumba's assistant in the lab, but he was very lazy. But he is very smart. He makes sandwiches, so that's fun. And then finally, the one that probably I shouldn't have done, but I'm still gonna hold up this sign, is cabin 9 Hephaestus, because he is somewhat loyal to Gantu. He makes his sandwiches. He makes sure he's eating. He stayed by his side and tried to help, kinda. So Yeah, either or. Messes were being made. Okay, so for our next experiment that we are sorting is the biggest, most influential, the one experiment that everybody knows. Literally, his name's in the title of everything. It's Stitch, guys. It's Stitch. We're sorting Stitch. I know I've sorted Stitch like once before in a Lilo and Stitch video. Card somewhere up here. Link description as well. I think originally I may have put him in Aries because of like his destructive nature and stuff like that. Did I? I don't remember. So for this video, I have 3 different places I want to put him. One of them, yes, being Aries again. Like, I just say it for his destructive nature, and like even when he is like good, he's like still very destructive and stuff like that. And then Cabin 9 Hermes for his loyalty and love to Lilo and Carly the 9 and also to Pleakley and Jumba and everybody he loves. And then finally Cabin 11 Hermes because of like his mischief attitude and like playfulness and the list of like he pulls pranks sometimes and he's like very mischievous and everything else. So I don't think me from doing the original Stitch video can ever dream of me doing this video because this is a mess. It's one of these 3. It's either Cabin 5 Aries for the destructiveness, Cabin 9 Hermes for his loyalty, or maybe even Cabin 11 for Hermes for his playful and like pranky and everything elseness and mischievous nature. So yeah, most definitely, guys. Tell me in the comments below where you think he should go. Alright, guys, guess what? I'm on the 5th and final page. Yay! We're almost done! I'm almost done. I'm gonna probably take a nap after this. So for this next one, it's 2 experiments that I just grouped together for this as well. Warg and Puddles. So, right off the bat, at least for one of the names, you could think, oh, Cabin 3 Poseidon, because that sounds watery. And you would be correct, yes. But also, Cabin 4 Demeter. Reason for that being is both of these ones are kind of like land creation one. They both use water and like landmass to create these things. Literally, one of them creates swamplands. I think that's bog. Literally creates swamplands, which involves both water and land. So, there's that. For our next experiment, I'm going to mispronounce this terribly, Multertainer. So the 2 places I was thinking were Cabin 9 Hephaestus because its main thing is like being like kind of like a mini volcano and throwing things back at you. And then I have Apollo here mainly because its one true place becomes creating like the grand finale at fireworks displays. So I guess you can see a little bit of my predicament because like both of like fire and light and stuff like that. So yeah, this is going off the rails. For this next one is another 2 experiments, Barcode and I'm gonna mispronounce it so terribly. Arcanaut Contointi. I don't know how to pronounce that. Their names are on the screen. So the places I was thinking for these were either Cabin 6 Athena or Cabin 9 Hephaestus because when it comes to these 2 together, you're usually dipping in like to an inventor sort of way and kind of mostly these 2 are technology based because one like creates viruses and then later fix them and then the other like creates better technology for the future. So inventing sort of way because like of smartness and like building, inventing. So inventing, creating, and that sort of way. And they have to be smart because of like technology. So there's that. Now for this next set of sortings. It's a lot of characters. There are 6 characters that I grouped together for this one. I'm going to mispronounce all of these terribly. One is named Rat. Another is Double Cross, Mr. Brown, Queasy, Supia, which is supposed to be, funny enough, someone who reads dyslexia, and then Warpson. So for these ones, I was either thinking of Cabin 6 Athena or Cabin 11 Hermes. Mainly Athena because like most of these ones are very smart, like evil genius way, of course, because they were made by an evil genius. And then like Cabin 11 either like for thievery or an escape plan because like escape and language and direction and everything. Hermes is like known for that way, so that's why I put like either of these ones up, thinking, oh, they could go in either or. So there's that. Okay, for our next experiment, hopefully I'm saying this right, Ripon. The two ones that I was thinking for this one was either Cabin 9 Hephaestus or Cabin 11 Hermes, because like his main thing is to change the temperature of your feet of when you're walking or running, and like making it increasingly like hotter per se. So heat, fire, Hephaestus, and then like walking direction. So yeah, for that one I kind of threw it in. Sorry guys. Next experiment is On Guard. Pretty much this one is, I'm just gonna say, a monster unicorn, and like his main thing is like mainly war, and it's supposed to destroy a lot of things, but also it labels that it's smart. So I'm just gonna hold up Cabin 6 Athena and Cabin 5 Ares, because like war aspect, it also is smart, but it also can be very dumb at the same time. So there's that. Okay, so we're on our final experiment. Thank goodness this video is almost over. Its name is Decayer. It's pretty much, so can very much like disappear. It's literally based off the Tooth Fairy and literally becomes the Tooth Fairy. And its one true place is literally the Tooth Fairy. And by saying that, it can generate coins, money. So I'm thinking either Cabin 11 Hermes for like money, wise, all that stuff. And also Cabin 14 Iris, because like it can turn invisible, light, and stuff like that. So yeah, that is all of them. Thank goodness. We're done. We're done sorting. We're done. All of it. Done. At least until next month. Oh, I'm really tired. Anyways, guys, I'm so sorry that this is a long video. I said in the beginning that this was one that had the most characters ever sorted. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Any of the experiments that didn't get an definitive answer, got an definitive answer, or even the ones in the very beginning that I did not even sort for the time being, tell me in the comments below where they should go. Please. Help me out here, guys. There was 628 characters to go through. I am just one person with one mind. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Come back next month, because some of those characters that I didn't sort in the very beginning are gonna get sorting, but not in the way you think you are. So come back here in a month to see that. Please make sure to like and subscribe. All that beautiful jazz. Last video right there. Subscribe right beneath me. Playlist of all the sorting videos are right there with the Percy Jackson playlist in the link description below. I'm done. I want to leave. Bye, guys!